It's very important uh, after, for a while, saying, for instance, a contemplation, for instance, may all, or as I am full of gladness, may all beings be safe and happy, something like that, a refrain, whatever one you pick. It's really important every once in a while to just stop, just completely stop. I recommend people stop 20, 30, 50 times a day and just stop everything. So in that way, you can get too busy, you can get too repetitive, too ritualized in saying Vajrasattva mantras. So it just kind of like a tranquilizer, nice neurohormonal tranquilizer. Om Vajrasattva Samaya. It's very nice. But every once in a while, just completely stop and feel what that feels like in the body, what it feels like in the speech. Speech is internal speech. What it feels like mentally, and just pause and just let the refrain of loving kindness or metta or compassion, Vajrasattva, let it just be absolutely natural and feel its quality. And from that recollection of quality, start saying it again and seeing if you can, from that pause, make it fresh, enlivened, interesting, as opposed to, it might get, as some of you know who meditate for hours and hours with maybe Chenrezi or Three Roots, whatever, Om Bendra Zada Sammai, and you're just doing it to count. You're doing it to stoke up the numbers. But actually, every once in a while, just pause. Go, whoa, it's really good. What's that like? And it's for the benefit of all beings. So when we say these, it's interesting, preliminary liberating instructions. Notice that when we go for refuge from the tradition of Vajrayana, when we put our hands like this, traditionally in the East, today in the West, by the way, no disparagement at all, but in the West, we use this now for just about everything. I see people when they meet each other go like this. When they say thank you, they go like this. And some Eastern teachers tell me it's quite bewildering because they don't know what it means. But traditionally, this is a heartfelt request. It's interesting, eh? It's a heartfelt request. By the way, don't stop what you're doing, just so you know. So when you do this, you're requesting something to happen. You're requesting of the teacher to give teaching. That would be traditional, right? Or you're requesting the blessings and the qualities of going for refuge. You're making that sincere request from your heart. May I want to take refuge. But remembering from the Vajrayana point of view, you start by requesting the entry into the door of refuge, like you're under the hot sun, blazing sun, maybe a week ago, and you go underneath a tree to get out of the blazing sun. But from the point of view of Vajrayana, the third turning the wheel of the Dharma, your aim is not just to get out of the heat of the sun and feel cool. The aim here is that you become all these sources of refuge, indistinguishable. Not just that you feel it in you, but you actually have the ability, the skill ability to be the sources of refuge for all sentient beings. So I just want you to know that that's what really this is about. You train so you can become all these sources of refuge. You can actually have the quality of unsurpassed awakening. You can actually experience all beings equal to space. That is numerous as space is vast. You eventually, maybe not this lifetime, but maybe have the qualities of a lama or a guru. Yidam, you have the qualities of the Yidam. Three Roots, Chenrezi, you actually feel that you're a walking embodiment of that quality, and so on. Dakini, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, and the protectors. So this is an important reference point for all of you, is not just requesting a refuge, not wishing just for blessings, that's good, but may I become a source of blessings. May I become a source of awakeness for all sentient beings, like a great tree that protects beings from the burning sun. And you know what happens if you don't have enough water and you're to get too hot. Inflamed brain, and inflamed brains can do various things that are not very nice activities. Okay, so bring that to you. So let's go back to the or forward to the Path of Freedom, turning to page 183. The word they're using, this is because these words are all through the text, and it doesn't actually have a reference to them. But the word that the anger, as I've said, the word that's being translated is dosa, D-O-S-A, and that is the classic word that is used for anger, frustration, rage, and so on. But you see the second word is here in this text, resentment, which bitterness, like a bitter, like tasting a leaf of a coffee tree, coffee bush, bitter. It's insecticide, or actually, if you take a good bit of rosemary or thyme, it's an insecticide, so quite bitter, quite unpleasant. A little bit is good for cooking. This word resentment is patiga, P-A-T. There's a dot under the T, patiga, G-H-A, patiga. And patiga shows up in the Abhidhamma tradition, the tradition of the lineage of the Buddha and Shariputra. And patiga has a technical meaning. It literally means to strike against. That's actually what it literally means. Pati and ga, to push against. But also, they're translating as resentment. But it also has the meaning of repulsion. That's a more direct meaning. To repulse against, to have repugnance. So the other day, bless his heart, when I said Harley Davidson, Teague would swoon with Harley Davidson. I saw his face, and it had an expression of repugnance. He was perhaps wishing I'd say Ducati or BMW, so you can see immediately there was Harley, Harley, Harley. Not resentment, not so much resentment, not bitter, but a kind of repugnance about Harleys. Whereas if I had said Ducati, Ducati, you see, you can just say the word Ducati, Harley, Ducati, Harley. Okay, so resentment, repugnance, and another translation that's used for the word patiga, which is really excellent. It's really worth practicing with. Resistance. Feel the mental and physical resistance. Resistance, like thick molasses. What are the words for this? The words of anxiety? I won't, I shouldn't, I can't, I will not. I won't go there. Right? Someone asked me a question. Won't go there. So feel why this is repeated over and over again. Anger, rage, and something that is even more insidious, which is resentment, repugnance, resistance, passive aggressiveness. Would you like to go to the water today? Sure. How does that feel? Sure. Just put up a wall of resistance. How would you like to, perhaps we could do some chanting this afternoon? Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden the tent is full of a cloud of dense fog. You see? And Canadians are famous around the world, as I understand, for their ability to be passive aggressive, nice monsters, in fact. So this word patiga is really important to strike against, to push away from, and another meaning that is used for patiga, or is explained, is to beat off, to fight off, to literally strike against. And even if you're not using your fists or your feet, right, you can mentally, verbally strike out in many ways. One of the greatest arts I've ever encountered is around the table on a British freighter. The verbal sparring that goes on, various cultures have ways of verbally and mentally striking out. Okay, so that's important to know. So there's a reason why they use the disadvantages of anger and resentment, and the reason being is to get to know your flavors. Don't have to get complicated. You don't have to get into a complicated psychological number. You just have to feel and discern when it feels open, kind. It's okay, T. Open, kind, mixed with it, supporting, caring, and the very quick, usually very quick, push against, strike against, damage, resist, create molasses, create fog, beat off, these kinds of things, and repugnance, and so on. So let's go back to page 183. So let me pause here. When we make a distinction, which is a great place to start, that's how I was taught in the beginning, a distinction between tranquility meditation and what we call today insight meditation, or really, insight's probably not the right word, jnana. Wisdom meditation, seeing relative wisdom. This is experiencing wisdom. So, or vipassana. When we have clarity, our consciousness, our awareness is much more able to catch subtleties that we never could catch before. This is why we do it. Our minds are so clear that one can see that when one reaches, for instance, for a throat lozenge, that you might catch eventually that reaching for the throat lozenge is actually tainted with greed, hatred, delusion, pride, and jealousy. You see, whereas before you couldn't see that. And because you can see it, you can apply mindfulness or recollection, and therefore you can actually take out the experience of frustration, grabbiness. You know the word grab today? Can you grab my plate? Can you grab my lozenge? Here, have the glass, and someone says, yeah, I'll grab it from you. Well, now it's commonplace. But I remember when I first heard the word grab, can I grab the plate from you, by a waiter or waitress? And I went, what, grab? Why would you grab it when you can pick it up? I used to say that in a restaurant. Excuse me, you don't need to grab it, you can just pick it up. I want to grab your coffee cup, please, or something like that. So that grabbiness is a feeling in the body, it's a feeling in speech, and it's a feeling in mind. Today, now the word grab is used for everything. Can I grab your idea? Can I grab that thought? Can I grab? But I always still say, why do we have such a grabby word? You know, why that word, grab? That's another commentary, another time. It is Sunday morning, but I'll stay away from that. Okay, so the ability to clearly focus and have lucid, clear, relaxed mind allows you to see what you've never seen before, which is the process of unbinding. Tranquility, metta, kindness doesn't unbind by itself. One has to see cause and effect and apply mindfulness, which is recollective ability, awareness, to undo that pattern which is causing harm. And you may not even know that you cause harm, may not even know that there is resentment and repugnance and so on. Okay, page 183. Near towards the top, one quarter of the way down, I will cause great merit to accrue to the givers. That is, I will cause all the beings that support me by my qualities, by upholding excellent qualities, they will get the capacity and strength that I am accruing. Does that make sense? All of us in this tent have accrued the merit, the strength and capacity of all the beings that have gone before to make this retreat happen. Isn't that cool? Amazing. Including the rezoning committee, okay, who stick handle this through every year for 17 years, okay? So isn't that something? So by upholding a high level of ethics, of generosity, the six parami, one has merit, one has capacity and strength, and that capacity and strength can move mountains. Okay? And we rely on that. So that's what that means. I, in my good qualities, in removing resentment and anger, will cause great merit, great capacity to accrue, to gather, to build up in the people that support me through having a mind of patience. It's really something. Patience is connected with anger and resentment, or patiga. People don't use the word resentment to translate patiga anymore. It's interesting. That's just change of translation. We bear the form and the apparel of the cosmos. That means we're wearing the robes of a bhikkhu, one who's ordained and has taken the 10 or the 250 precepts. This patience is a practice of the noble ones. Therefore, I will not allow anger to remain in my mind. That means you don't put up with it. That's really powerful. When you spot anger or resentment in yourself, you don't put up with it. You quickly learn to put it aside and let the good states come in. That's really important. That takes a lot of capacity to see it and not let it build, put it aside and build good states. Yeah. I am called a hearer, that is one who hears Dharma. I will cause others to call me a hearer in truth. The givers of alms, that is people that support food, give me many things through this patience, which is actually, this patience is metta. I will cause great merit, great strength to accrue to them. So this is a contemplation. This is something you read through. And this helps keep you moving away from anger and resentment towards more and more metta. I have confidence. This is great. These are meritorious qualities. I have confidence. This patience is the place of confidence in me. If you want confidence, you have to have patience. Where did confidence come from? Isn't that cool? Where do you gain confidence from? Or sorry, patience from? Confidence. Where do you gain confidence from? Patience. It's like that. If you can stay with something and you can go all the way through to the end or close to the end, and you can build something like build a house or a cabin or whatever it is. It could be build a beautiful song, compose something, write something and finish it, complete it, except for that one. There, a few typos left over. Yeah. Finished it. You know how it is? You finish it. You go, yeah, great. Yep, great. Post it. Look at the first page. Giant typo. It's so normal. So, the ability to carry something out and know you've carried out brings you confidence. And I always say to people who are practicing in so-called the spiritual life or the life of awakening, get a craft. As the Buddha said, have a handicraft. Have something that you can do over and over and over again that allows you to start at the beginning, puzzle your way through it, and accomplish. And if you don't have that, then I suspect that's going to come into the retreat practice. I'm pretty sure you're going to have whatever you have out there when you come into a retreat, you're going to have all that. That's my experience. You don't go into retreat and escape what you have. Is that right for those who've been in retreat? I don't want to put any words in your mouth, but I can see you laughing and smiling. Yeah, you think, retreat, I get away from it all. I can relax. I don't have any problems of the ordinary world. No, nothing like that. No, it's all there. Right? It's all there. Therefore, you have to do something about it. So how are you going to work with this? Patience and confidence. Where do you get it from? Somewhere in your life experience, you have a history of making accomplishments. Is it finishing a quilt? Yes, finishing a quilt. The ability to finish paintings. Yeah, maybe you're not perfect. Writing? Yeah, you'll never finish, right? Never ever finish, but just know when to stop after a year. 5 pages after a year, just know when to stop. Golf, sports, arts, science, language, mathematics, relationships, everything, right? Care for pets, care for garden, everything. Do you have patience, and can you bring about something to fruition over and over and over again, so you have capacity and strength? So when you come into retreat, I wish to unfold the awake mind and a mind of boundless loving kindness and compassion. I can do this. I have made 20 quilts successfully. I can do this. Right? This is key. You could probably just leave that there for today. Okay, that's done. Living with Namja Rinpoche, we traveled around the world with our craft. In retreat, almost every single retreat on Polish ocean lines, and even in Ontario, we were doing a craft. And if we didn't go to his house to a craft, we did some craft or art. And he wanted to see the manifestation. So some of you know that Namja Rinpoche with Terry or myself or somebody else would turn out one painting per day. It would be finished by the end of the day. Rarely not, occasionally not. So in a 3-month boat trip, for a period of time, might be one every day. Fantastic. Beautiful, just finished, lovely, small little piece of work. Get up in the morning, he'd get up in the morning and he'd have another vision of what to paint, and it would get done and it would get accomplished, finished. So I have confidence. This patience is the place of confidence in me. I have knowledge, that is knowledge of cause and effect. This patience is the sphere of knowledge in me. How is one going to get knowledge? Knowledge, understanding of cause and effect, knowledge of transience, knowledge of dukkha, knowledge of non-real self, knowledge of pristine awareness through patience and confidence. How long is it going to take to realize the pristine nature of the mind? What do you think? Month? Day? Weekend? 1 month retreat? Weekend retreat? What do you think? Don't know. How long does it take to make a quilt the first time? The second time? The third time? How long does it take to cut a gemstone that you haven't cut before? Don't know. How long does it take to get decent at putting or chipping? I don't know. 10,000 hours? Yeah, that was a made up number. It has no basis, anything. I don't know if you know that. Finally, somebody dug into it and found out, yeah, it was made up. It's kind of a nice number. It sounded good at the time. Somebody has 5,000 hours. Somebody has 20,000 hours. It's said about great accomplished meditation masters, it's 30, 40,000 hours. If there is the poison of anger and resentment in me, this patience is the antidote, which will counteract the poison. It is poison. Can you come to the point in your meditative practice where you can feel the poison, the physical poison circulating in your blood? Yeah. Thoughts that are unwholesome thoughts actually are like a toxic soup. You can feel it. It hurts. It physically hurts. You feel a little sick, feel a little bit off. You know, you can feel your hands go, ugh. Ugh. You get that, you know, ugh. What was that? It doesn't feel really very good. That's chemical. It's biological. Thus, one should reflect on the disadvantages of anger and fatigue, and on the advantages of patience, and resolve. Make a statement like that. You will get there in retreat. Ever had that, some of you? It's like, okay, I'm going to get this. Enough of that. That's good. I will reach patience. Yeah, I will experience what it's like to have real patience. Yeah. How are you going to do that? One of the things you have to do is you have to get it out of your arms. You have to get it out of your tissues, out of your fingers. And where do your fingers lead? Go like this. Where do your fingers lead? Go in here, and go in here. All that's going to have to get released. And if you release it, that's not enough. You have to release the karmic habit mental patterns that keep building it. So, you know, once there was a diabolical teacher, once, way long ago, and a practitioner who wanted to study Dorje Pomo, Vajragini, said, I want to study Vajragini. And Namjam Rinpoche said to this diabolical teacher, you should guide him, teach him Vajragini, it's your practice. Okay, this man said, I want to practice the mandala, the cross triangle mandala of Vajragini. Good, very good. Well, just go draw it. How do I draw it? Well, all you need is a compass, and that's it. Compass, pencil, and you can draw it out. Perfect. Equilateral triangles. Okay. So every time he went away, I come back. Well, it wasn't me, of course, but somebody else. Come back, and the triangles were never matched. They were always like this. Always a little skew. I say, well, you're using a compass and a ruler. They should be clear and straight. But they are. No, they're not. They are. Go back and do it again. Go back and do it again. Go back and do it again. But I don't want to. I want to meditate. See? Interesting. And the frustration level built. You can just see the frustration, the resentment. I just want to meditate. Why do I have to make these triangles? Didn't want to make a triangle straight. So he ended up making little triangles and filling pages of triangles. Pages of triangles. So where do you start? You got to start in feeling the resistance. You got to start in feeling the poison. Yeah. And reaching patience, the experience of patience. When people blame me, I will be patient. I will be meek, humble, and not haughty. Thus the yogin proceeds towards the bliss of patience and benefits himself. So can you feel what it's like to the bliss, the happiness of accomplishment? What would be the accomplishment in metta meditation? Wow. just a boundless feeling of care and love for all sentient beings. That should make you feel, wow, that's really good. I feel good. I hope other people feel good. This is called patience. He enters or she enters into a place of solitude, and with a mind undisturbed, unperturbed, relatively tranquil, not worried about whether you left the stove on and the propane is still burning and melting the kettle or something, whatever it is, could be your visa bill. Undisturbed begins to fill his body, the experience of body, not body, you don't feel it, the experience of body with a thought or the contemplation, thus, I am happy. So this is an oral instruction manual of how it was done. Remember how we started? I'm happy. I feel good. What happens if you don't feel good? You give up? No, you got to find what makes you feel good. So let's say you're in retreat or over at Ocean Wonder Cabin or something, and you're sitting there and go, okay, I'm supposed to practice metta meditation, but I don't feel like metta meditation. Today, I don't feel like metta meditation at all. I don't even know what metta is like. And I feel bitterness and I feel resentment and I'm kind of pissed off. What would you do? Something simple. Just sit there and fight it? Well, you go, going for a walk could feel good. Chopping wood could feel good. Maybe making some artwork could feel good. Maybe making a cup of tea would feel good. And if you're a practitioner of recollection, maybe when you're walking, you go, God, I feel good. That feels good. I feel happy inside. Make sense? It could be golf. It could be something. But when you're in retreat, it's something simple. We don't necessarily go to the golf course. We don't necessarily go bungee jumping. We don't sign up and go diving, skydiving. You make a cup of tea, you make a cup of coffee, you go, I feel good. What's that feel like? Can I bring that about? Can I spread that to all beings? Yeah, so that's what that means. So once you establish, I am happy, my mind admits no suffering. I have a continuum by which I feel no gross suffering. Fine suffering, that's different. They mean gross here. What is meant by I have no enemy, I have no anger, I am happily free from all defilements and perform all good. So you eventually build up states. You build up good states. You get to recognize that which is a good state, that which is a wholesome state, that which is an unpleasant state, and you move it towards towards excellence. That yogin controls his mind, works with his mind, makes his mind pliant. Yeah, he makes his mind capable of attainment. Capable, strong. Not because you're rigid, but because there's strength in flexibility by pliancy. He or she makes his mind capable of attainment if his mind is pliant, is soft, gentle, metta, mixable. He or she is able to bear the object. What's the object? A continuum of kindness, a continuum of care, a continuum of boundless care and love for sentient beings. He should practice loving kindness. He should regard all beings as regards himself, unless you, of course, regard yourself as a lowly, insignificant waste of time and all those things. But if you actually feel good about yourself, then you want all beings to do the same thing. In practicing loving kindness towards all beings, the yogin or yogini cannot at the start develop loving kindness for enemies, wicked men, beings without merit and dead men. So it takes time. That yogin develops loving kindness for one towards whom he behaves with respect, respectful reserve, whom he honors, whom he does not slight, towards whom he is not indifferent, and by whom he has been benefited, and therefore, in regards to whom he is not jealous or ill-disposed. He or she should develop metta for such a one. So in these days, It wasn't your mother. You didn't start with your mother. You didn't start with your father. You didn't start with your wife or your husband or your partner. You didn't start with your a dog or your cat. You started with who? In these days, you started with usually your spiritual mentor. Yeah. Maybe today you can't do that. Maybe there's too much weird stuff going on with the spiritual mentor, so one finds it difficult. It's possible. Too much like a parental figure. But somebody, a human being, by the way, a human being, not a dog or a cat, not your favorite giraffe or lizard or diatoms or something like that. No, that's not a human being that has the qualities that you can enter into the feeling of metta. And here it is here. He should or she should develop loving kindness for such a one. Thus, quote, I esteem, I like, I respect a man or woman who is of such and such a nature, namely a man or woman endowed with honor, learning, virtue, concentration, wisdom. Another way of saying that is honor, learning, and the sixth parami. It's strong. I am benefited through sweet speech or gentle speech, liberality, and intentness on that. These are of advantage to me. Thus he recalls to mind the virtues he esteems and the benefits he has acquired in and through that one, and develops loving kindness or metta towards that one. One should develop the benevolent mind and always reflect and investigate. Do you hear that? Always reflect, investigate, not a dull mind that sits in a clouded tranquility because it feels peaceful. It says right there, investigation, reflection, investigation, reflection. The classic way of practicing, which I recommend, which I love, is hear the Dharma, study the Dharma, reflect, contemplate, meditate, hear the Dharma, study the Dharma, reflect, contemplate, maybe even debate the Dharma, understand what you're doing, meditate. What do you think is going to come next? Hear the Dharma, study the Dharma, over and over and over again, so it builds, not just this. What are you going to do with that? Where are you going to take it? So how do we grow? We grow by coming back and challenging ourselves. So here, this is something I do in retreat and have done for decades. I learned this from Namgyal Rinpoche. It's beautiful practice. Is unless one is in a really strict 20-hour, no reading, nothing, but how you build in retreat is take 1 hour a day, or 40 minutes in the morning and 40 minutes in the afternoon, or maybe after lunch, and take up a text that you're studying or reading in Dharma, not a commentary, an original text, or maybe your teacher's notes. That's fine, or notes that your teacher gave from a discourse they gave or teaching they gave. But like this, the section on loving kindness, read 2 paragraphs over and over and over again for 40 minutes or half an hour after breakfast. That's what I do, by the way. I take a really great text I love, and after breakfast, I sit with it and read it maybe 5 times, over and over and over again for 3 months. And then I'll take maybe a day later, 2 days later, I'll take another page or half a page. And I'll do that in the morning, and I'll do that in the evening, or I'll do that after lunch, and it soaks in. It soaks in, just soaks in. And the meaning becomes enriched. And then take up the formal meditative practice, and you'll see that by doing both, the meaning that's embedded in these texts or in the notes that you have begins to soak out. It's nothing new. I didn't invent this. This is a really classic way of practicing. And that's what's meant here by reflecting and investigating. One should have a mind that is without anger and resentment. They keep repeating that. There must be a reason. One should wish to be endowed with tranquility, to be free from hatred, from dosa, to be endowed with all merits, all capacity, and to gain good advantages. How do you gain good advantages? Like this, all the time? Not necessarily. That's one thing. But how to gain advantage? You have to strengthen your being, strengthen all the facets of your being, so it becomes a richly endowed being. Just like found in, after almost every retreat, I recite and teach from the Mangala Sutta. The sutta, the Buddha said blessings. What are the blessings in life? Good handicraft, learning, education, good relationships, family, all kinds of things. Building up a rich mandala, so that when you go like this, it actually really works. God, this is just so logical. It's just common sense. Sometimes I go, if I listen to what I'm saying, it just sounds like common sense. It's like, this doesn't make sense. Yeah, it just makes sense. I think basically relative wisdom is what makes sense. That which is good, and recognizing that which doesn't work, and just get rid of that which doesn't work and build up what works. Good advantages. One should wish to gain a good reward, reap the good rewards of good states, and a good name, to gain confidence, to gain happiness, to be endowed with virtue, knowledge. Knowledge, what kind of knowledge? Knowledge about things, knowledge about phenomena, but here they also mean knowledge about the nature of mind, knowledge about experience. Liberality, generosity. They use the word liberality in this old text. This is very old text, a translation. We don't so much use the word liberality anymore. It's the last 40 years it's been generosity for Dana. And wisdom. Wisdom here means profound vipassana, insight. Thus one should wish for happy sleep and happy awakening. Isn't that great? I would like to have a good sleep tonight and be rested in the morning. And when I wake up, I want to just pop up into this awake, glowing state. Isn't that nice? And what should be the first wish when you wake up as a practitioner? I wish the loving kindness and care and happiness and well-being for all sentient beings. That should make you happy. It's like, God, that feels good. One should wish to have no evil dreams. Now, evil, the word evil here is different than unwholesome. So sometimes the text, it says unwholesome, and sometimes it says evil. When it says evil, the Pali word is papa. And evil means really bad stuff. That means murdering, slaying, really bad speech, misinformation, lying, cheating, corrupting, seriously intoxicated every day or every few days. How do you meditate when you're intoxicated? It's really hard. And then you're getting over the intoxication. It's even harder. So, I don't know. I think I've been drunk once. I mean, I'm not sure I had a hangover, but it's really unpleasant, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to meditate now with a hangover. I don't know. Or getting over some or a drug. I mean, it's really hard. Your mind's just full of stuff, let alone the five poisons. So it's not only moving around and being tossed around by greed, hatred, delusion, pride, and jealousy, which are actually physiological. There's chemicals. You may as well be on a drug trip. Yeah. But what kind of drug would you like to take? I prefer, the drugs I like to take? Yeah. I like the drug of generosity, loving kindness and compassion, and non-delusion and clarity, wisdom. That's the kind of drugs I like to put in my nervous system. And you can do it like this. It's really good. And by the way, it's free. It doesn't cost. As I say to you, you know how much you're saving by being here a month. I ordered 3 things on Amazon yesterday: wax for the kayak, and a book, and and a cutter for the a paper cutter, the replacement blade. But you fortunate people, being here for 3 weeks, you've probably saved $1,000, but by not being on Amazon. The clothing that you want and that special tool that you need, right there, Nathan. That special tool that you need, yeah, a special thing you need. If you're a wood turner, that little special blade that's come out that's specially made for that and this and that. Garden tools or household stuff for plumbing, right there too, yeah. Little screws or plumbing stuff or whatever it is every day. Yeah, just think of how inexpensive this retreat is. It's a great benefit. Yeah. And your Visa card will thank you. Well, no, actually they want you to spend, so they won't thank you. Anyways, that's enough for right now. Let's take a 10-minute break and come back and finish this paragraph. It's good to know, contrary, I think, to a lot of popular understanding, is that the great meditation masters, the yogins, the ones that you read about who did 10 years or 20 years under a tree or in a cave, if you read their biographies, you'll find that all of them, except a few, were highly educated in Dharma. They were not just great practitioners, but also great scholars. And some of them actually, for a year or two, would consume in their cave text after text after text to study, so they could refine where they were headed. Like the great Khyentse Rinpoche, when he was young, he'd go into retreat for like a year, and they'd bring every text from the monastery out and pile it. He had no more room left. They actually had to build things for all the texts that would be borrowed from the library. And he would just consume texts and then go into retreat and meditate and consume texts. And the attendants were always bringing texts. Yeah. He's no slouch. His understanding, both meditatively and intellectually, was astounding. This is, just astounding. Yeah. There's one story of the great Khyentse Rinpoche, where when the Tibetans left Tibet, and these great masters finally got together in northern India, there was a meeting. They had a meeting and celebration, and the various heads of the different schools came together with the Dalai Lama. And after a whole bunch of things happened, there was a request, because he was like one of the elders. There was a request, and they said to this great yogi, could you give a commentary? Could you give us all a teaching on the mandala offering? He accepted. And it's considered to be interesting enough, it's considered one of the highest, most difficult explanations and discourses to give, is on the mandala offering. And he was asked to do this for the benefit of the Dalai Lama and others. Dalai Lama eventually became his student, took him on as Dalai Lama. So Khyentse Rinpoche said, sure, I'll do that. And Khyentse Rinpoche was known as a yogi, not as... So it was supposed to be for the next morning. And what they saw is he never stopped doing interviews. The attendants brought him the text to look at. He never opened. They said, here, you need this. You're going to be giving a discourse on the mandala offering to all these great scholars and yogis and the Dalai Lama. Here's the text. He said, sure, thank you very much. And just kept on seeing people and giving blessings and teachings. And the next morning, gave this discourse on mandala offering. And it blew people away. He never looked at notes, nothing. He had total memory of everything he learned. And they went, I had no idea this guy was not only a great meditation master, but an extraordinary scholar. So never discount the power of understanding, of rigorous, not clever, rigorous understanding, contemplation, and reflection to know where you're going, why you're contemplating, why you're meditating, and it enriches meditation deeply. Okay, let's continue with this. One should wish to become dear to non-humans and be honored by them. So we've been over this, but again, consider every single sentient being precious. Every sentient being precious. One should wish to become dear to non-humans and be honored by them. One should wish to be protected by the gods, godlike beings, and to be untouched by fire, poison, sword, or stick, and the like. To concentrate the mind quickly is a sign of accomplishment. It's a sign, it's a good sign. How quickly can one enter into a natural, abiding concentration? To have a pleasant complexion, be born in the middle country. I want to explain that. Middle country doesn't mean Saskatchewan. Actually, the center of Canada is Baker Lake. I don't know if you know that, Northwest Territories. The geographic center of Canada is Baker. It doesn't mean to be born near Baker Lake, near Hudson's Bay. What it means is middle country refers to a place where there is learning in Dharma. That means you can find good teachers in Dharma, that the tradition is still living. It's not in some place so far away that you couldn't find a teacher if you tried. And Nathan has reminded me of something that I haven't defined, but for some people, he has reminded me, could you please explain the word Dharma? Because there are people that don't know even what that means. That's fine. So the word Dharma means literally that which upholds, the pillar or support of everything. So when you take everything away, what's the pillar? What is the support of the awake mind? That's Dharma. So Dharma refers to teaching, it means a path of liberation that leads to the awake, to discovering and refining and realizing the awake mind. And Dharma is also used, I call small d Dharma, to every phenomena that there is. So that gets confusing. So Dharma means tree Dharma, agriculture Dharma, astronomy Dharma. But when we refer to Dharma here, we mean a path and the practices, the instructions, and the teachings that lead to liberation. That's what Dharma is. What is the pillar? The word da, the syllable da or dar literally means support or pillar. What supports everything? That's the contemplation. What supports everything? And ma is to mother, to foster, to bring forth. Okay. So the middle country, to meet good men, of course, good men or good women. Isn't that a beautiful thing? To meet good beings, to learn from them, to absorb their qualities. Yeah, fantastic. To perfect oneself. I think for some that's a dirty word because perfecting these days has got a connotation of neuroticism. But perfecting, if it's done in a really wholesome way, is a beautiful thing to say. Look, remember once somewhere in New Zealand watching someone put golf balls, chip golf balls into a tire on the green from about 60 yards away, and just put one in and the next one in. And that hour after hour after hour after hour after hour after hour, just go boop, 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 boop. Oh, that one's off. Again. We've done that, right? Chip, 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 put, 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 chip, 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 put, 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 chip, 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 put, put, put. And maybe in 20 or 30 years, there will be some perfection. Chip, 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 put, put, put. To end craving. There it is, folks. and craving and the unconscious, if you wish, the driven, blind wandering into craving after this, craving after that, craving after that. Can the mind relax into the effortless ease of non-craving? That's it. Which is also, turns out, if you build the muscles, to be effortlessly unitive, non-craving, and loving kindness or compassion. Be long-lived, and to attain to the peace and happiness of the immortal, called nibbana. Why is it immortal? Because awareness doesn't die. You die, we all die. But awareness doesn't die. You can't kill awareness. Isn't that cool? That's why it's called immortal. Not a human being, not a sentient being. All sentient beings are mortal. But awareness, the awake nature, not state, the awake nature is deathless, doesn't die. If it died, if it was subject to conditioning, cause and effect, then it would be always changing, and you could find it one day and not the other. But that's not awakeness. Awakeness is omnipresent awakeness. Why? It's natural. It's just there. That's the way it is right now. Okay. That is, we'll keep on going. It's great. I think that's plenty. Any questions? Yes, sir.
When it says that by honoring those that I respect, I am benefited through alms, sweet speech, liberality, and intentness on that. These are advantage to me. Is this similar to practicing Data Yoga and making offerings and then receiving blessings?
Yeah, is it similar? Are these practices, for instance, of gaining liberality and so on, gaining benefit for yourself? Yes, by making offerings, by offering up qualities, one also receives those qualities back. Yeah, it's selfish, but it's generous. And when you see that if you give good qualities, you also receive back. Not all the time. I mean, you can actually love somebody or love beings and actually receive a spear in the heart. But that happens. But generally speaking, overall, majority of cases is that love and kindness increases kindness. Generally, not always. You can make people by the way, very afraid by being too obviously loving or too obviously caring. That can produce fear in beings. Yeah. And when there's fear in beings, what do? They fight back. So, yeah. But that doesn't stop you from continuing. Yeah. So yes, making offerings of all the good qualities to beings, offering yourself and all the good qualities, has a way of building really quick way of building your capacity. Absolutely. Nothing like generosity to bring about non-clinging. It's the most direct path. The words of Namjo Rinpoche, you want the fast path to liberation? Generosity, generosity, generosity. People are terrified of generosity. Why? I'll get tired. Listen to the language. I'll get tired. It'll hurt me. I'll be depleted. I can't. I shouldn't do that. It's not appropriate. So generosity is very fearful. So how to go right at the heart of attachment and clinging? Generosity, generosity, generosity. Blessings, giving blessings, receiving blessings, giving blessings, receiving blessings. Good. Any other? Yes, it's Jordan, right.
You talked before about noticing these toxins. So what should you do with the mind when you notice these toxins? Or is mindfulness sufficient to purify the mind?
No, mindfulness, folks. Mindfulness is not sufficient to purify the afflictions. But mindfulness as recollection and awareness is. Bare attention is needed, useful, and necessary, but doesn't liberate. So shall I repeat that a few times? Being fully attentive to something is an absolutely necessary condition for the unfolding of liberation. But by itself doesn't and can't. In the same way that you can have an assassin whose mindfulness is absolutely superb and must be. A person who is expert in riflery or target shooting, right? At a competition level must have absolutely superb attentiveness and breath control. But they may not actually have the qualities of liberation. So the word sati, mindfulness, actually means more recollection and memory. How does one become liberated? By recollecting that which works and recollecting that which doesn't work. That's called memory. Then interjecting or putting in that which works for that which doesn't work. And that's called building capacity. And that's hard to do. Why? Because we face resistance. You have to feel the physical resistance, the mental resistance to want to change. It's as simple as this. I've always reached for the glass this way, and it doesn't feel very comfortable to reach for the glass this way. Can you feel that? I've always put my watch on this way, even if it's unwholesome, even if it's bad. I've always put my watch on for years this way, and it feels uncomfortable to do this. Physicists have shown that we all tie our shoelaces the wrong way. We tie our shoelaces so they've come undone. Isn't that interesting? Some physicists actually wanted to find out, why do shoelaces fall apart? Shoelaces fall apart because we tie our shoelaces the wrong. We've all been taught how to tie them the wrong way, so they fall apart. If you reverse that, they stay together. It's kind of interesting. But if you feel the resistance, just feel the resistance to tying your shoelaces another way. Just try it. So the same thing. It doesn't feel comfortable to push the unwholesome and allow the wholesome to grow. But you have to have patience and capacity to do that. And then you go, God, that's good. That's really good. I wish I had done that earlier. Which is why you hear Dharma classes. Why? Dharma classes say things like this. If you remove the resentment, you'll feel better. If you reduce the anger in yourself, other people will feel it and they'll feel better. That's called metta. Can you feel the resistance? No, I don't want to do that, actually. I just love my bitterness and my anger towards beings and love destroying beings, but you mean I'd feel better? That's how it's done. It's called recollecting and changing your behavior at your body, your speech, and your mind. And feel the resistance and feeling the not wanting to go there. I won't go there. Don't make me go there. I won't look. I won't see. That's called a Ouija, which is the meaning of dullness. Don't want to see what's happening and just feel it. That's fantastic. Just go like this. Oh, camera. Yeah, just feel it. Just feel the resistance. Right? Put your foot down in a different way and you go, don't want to see it. Unpleasant feeling, don't want to know about it. Talk to somebody, don't want to talk there. Don't want to investigate. Don't want to know. Don't want to engage. I can ignore it for another day. It takes too much energy. See, you got to feel that. That's a physiological sensation. It's a toxin. And we don't want to change the toxin because we're comfortable with the toxin, even if it's harming us. So the 5 poisons can become comfortable to the point where we want to have the 5 poisons as an antidote to anxiety, but actually they're stoking up more anxiety and more patterning in us. Okay. Yeah, good. These are good questions. Yes. The gentleman in the maroon, your name again?
Greg.
Greg, that's right, yeah.
Is it still worth practicing metta if the bodily felt sense of metta is not arising or rising very, very weakly?
Yes. Yeah, the answer is yes. So if the body, the question I believe is if the body sensation is not really feeling metta and it's very weak, would it be worth keep practicing metta? Absolutely, because there's no separation between mental states and physiology. I hope you all know that, yes? Shall we repeat that? There is no separation between physiology and mental states. Zero. Whatever's happening in the mind is happening physiologically. Whatever's happening physiologically is felt as a mental experience. So how do you change physiology? Change mental experience. How do you change mental experience? Change physiology. They're like this. Gary, should we demonstrate it? Simple. I don't know. Let's see. Have you ever had a hug?
Yes.
Did you feel good afterwards?
Yes.
There you go. How long did it take?
Less than a second.
Yeah. About a quarter of a second? Hug, feel good. Hug, feel good. That's like shake hands. Nathan came over. He looked at me. He said, I shook his hand and he just quarter of a second. Doesn't take long. So physiology changes all mental states. If you have toxic physiology, toxic mental states. Good physiology, so yes. May all beings be safe and in bliss. Changes your physiology. Maybe not today, maybe not this hour, but maybe this afternoon, maybe this evening. And once you catch the hang of it, you go, okay, did it once. 10 seconds. Boy, 10 seconds of metta. That's really good. Maybe tomorrow, 30 seconds. 1 hour. And maybe, wow, that's a whole morning of metta. This is how it works. So you have to change the resistance. You have to change the physiology. Physiology is pattern physiology.
So I find that it fluctuates a lot throughout the day. Yeah, sometimes it arises very easily.
Check the nostrils, you'll see. Check the nostrils, you'll see. When the nostrils are both open, metta is just like, wow, no other place I want to be. They both get clogged, maybe allergies or just time of day. You go, yeah, there is nothing else I would like to do but jump in the ocean and cool off. Sure. Okay. How's that for? Oh, there's some more. Yes, Jeannie.
Just
by the way, congratulations, you made it. You've been trying for a long time.
I know.
That's great. Hello there.
Happy to be here.
Nice to see you. Yeah.
Just a question about resting in awareness and its purification qualities. And it's not a state, but it seems resting in awareness that it does have a purification aspect to it.
If it is actually resting in non-differentiated, non-state awareness, it's incredibly fast in its purification. But few can do that. Few beings can do that. What they're normally doing is resting in tranquility, resting in a state that is confused for resting in undifferentiated, open awareness. So yes, if you can rest, really rest or abide, I prefer abide, in effortless, timeless awareness, bright, awake, fully compassionate, infinitely compassionate, it unbinds like nothing else. But not so many beings can do that. So we start here. And if you don't have this, you don't have that. It's just not possible. So that's why we start this way. It's the basis for it. And by the way, you'll see all through this Theravadan text, references to sublime and references to liberation through metta. So if you have the right instructions, depending on your teacher, you can actually practice metta meditation or compassion and bring about the not just non-dual, inseparably mixed with infinite compassion, which must come from knowledge. So yes, the answer is yes, absolutely, absolutely. But the tradition of Vajrayana, it is said that abiding in natural mode of awareness, I like mode instead of state, there's no state, mode of awareness is not sufficient to bring about Buddhahood. One has to reveal the qualities that are inherent in that nature. Yeah. So as I said to someone the other day who was going, I really like basking in that, is how about, for the benefit of all sentient beings, awakening those qualities for all beings. And that's where we go. Yeah. Okay. I think that's plenty for this morning. Okay. So tonight we'll get back together again, and we're going to continue on with the text. And tomorrow morning, I'm going to come here at 9 o'clock. Okay. 9 o'clock, no class tomorrow morning. Monday morning, no class. Going to take checkups. I prefer checkups with a small number of people who would urgently or would like to see me, and I'll do that for about an hour, and that will be Monday morning. Okay. And Monday evening, there'll also be a session. Yeah, Monday evening. Okay.
7:30.
7:30. Yeah.
Pacific time.
But tomorrow morning, no class, just a small number of people on a list that would like to have a checkup or a check-in, hopefully not check out, but check in, and not chicken. Okay. By this powerful activity, this strengthening activity, may it lead to the cessation of bewilderment for all sentient beings. Idante punyakamang asawaki wahangotu. Idante punyakamang asawaki wahangotu. Idante punyakamang asawaki wahangotu. May all beings have excellent relative health, excellent relative well-being, and be happy. May all beings discover primordial awareness, empty luminous nature, beyond any constraints, unobstructed, the unity of infinite compassion and wisdom as a glorious gift for all sentient beings. Sarmangalam, Sarmangalam, Sarmangalam. That's it. See you. Bye, all those on Zoom.